Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bees, and today we're going to go through all the bee equipment, we're going to get it cleaned up, and we're going to try to get ahead of things. It's mid-February and we've already looked at the hives on some warmer days. You get an idea of which ones are the dead outs, you mark them so you can go in and start cleaning them out. Maybe there's some frames with honey, but the ones that are still alive, you want to introduce some sugar patties to these hives. Make sure that they have some food to get over that hump for the rest of the cold. It's going to go right back down here in Michigan. We have snowy weather well into April, but we'll start making splits as early as late March, early April, depending on the weather. And we'll wait until the pollen starts getting flown in by the bees. That's a good indicator of when you should start feeding pollen patties. And because if you feed pollen too early, it stimulates the queen to lay, and then she's going to have a bunch of brood, and you may experience chilled brood. Now, of course, it depends on where you are in the world, where you are in the country. If you want to start your splits sooner, of course you can do that. Try to find a beekeeper or channel that's local to you so you can know when to do what. Here in Michigan, we won't really do splits and well after, Tennessee or Kentucky, that sort of thing. The bees start flying, you have to get in there and you have to inspect them, you have to do your splits, and you have to figure out which ones have queens or what the status. That's going to take a lot of time. You don't want to spend that time cleaning up frames, getting your swarm traps ready. It's good to go through this stuff early season. You don't have to worry about pests infecting these frames, so you can get in there, let the bees scavenge whatever you need, and then everything's ready to go. Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bees. It's been a long time since we did a video, and excited to get into the bee yard. Just like a lot of you, want to open up some hives, but it's just not quite warm enough. Usually we wait until at least 60 degrees until we start cracking into the hives and maybe doing some box swapping, or depending on the size of the hive. Really right now on a warm day like today, it's unseasonably warm for mid-February. Days like this, you come out and you look at your apiary, which ones are flying. Now they can play tricks on you. The ones with a lot of traffic, you probably can guarantee that they're surviving. If you're in a warm area, maybe they're bringing pollen in. That means you have a laying queen inside. Some of these other hives, they may just be getting robbed if there's a few bees going in and out. So that's something you'll have to, make some notes, either right on the top of the box, keep a note, a bee journal, or mark with a brick like we do. We just place a brick upright if we think it's a dead out. So step one is get out in the bee yard and find out which ones are dead outs. Then go into those suspected hives and start cleaning them out. Take any frames out that have honey, and you can either, depending on how much honey that is, you can either harvest it or you can feed it back to the bees. Just put it out for days like today. There's bees flying everywhere today eating honey. We have several frames that we've already harvested some honey, and we're just leaving them out. There's comb out there for the bees that are just scavenging it. They're going to dry it all up and then we'll melt it down. So step one is identify your hives. Step two is clean the boxes out. Any frames that have dead bees, any frames that may have mice in them. Of course, if you weren't using hardware cloth or mice guards, you may have mice living. You're going to have to, evict everybody and take those frames that have bees or pollen, and some of that is going to get wet and moldy and slimy, so you want to clean all that out. Just take your hive tool. Don't worry, the bees are going to quickly rebuild everything. You're going to start feeding sugar syrup as soon as it gets above 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So we need frames cleaned up, so that's why we didn't put honey out yet. It's going to go right back down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's tomorrow's overnight. So some really back and forth type of weather, teeter-totter weather here in Michigan, early spring. So we're just going to hold off on the pollen, because unless the bees are bringing pollen in, it's not really time to feed pollen. I know that I really can't make splits any earlier than April. So as soon as we get into April, we'll start making splits, and then we'll have our bees ready by May. So it's all about timing, and it's going to be different every year a little bit. So right now it's just cleanup time and harvesting honey. And we're going to get ahead of everything, and we're going to be ready for our swarm traps and hang those by May. So pretty much February into March, we're going to be cleaning up our hives, harvesting honey, anything that's left over, feeding them back, getting all these frames ready and cleaned up, and we're gonna get everything situated. And then once March starts, we're gonna actually start getting into the bees on the warmer days, maybe doing some swap boxing, maybe just taking boxes away completely, if depending on the size of the hive, how many frames are in there. And then April is when we start getting our swarm traps ready, and that's when we start doing our splits. May is when we'll catch swarms, we'll be selling bees, hopefully, and at that point we're really starting to feed a lot of sugar syrup. So I hope this video gives you some ideas, and let me know if you guys have any questions or comments, maybe some things that you do differently at different times. We're all going to do things a little different, but you know, and every year it's going to give or take a couple weeks. So
I cleaned all the comb off, forgot to hit record. I haven't seen, oh, this is the first sign of brood that I've seen. I got bees with pollen on it, so that's a good thing. Excellent, excellent. So this is an alive hive. I'm just looking for the queen right now. A lot of bees on this one. Well, that's excellent. Good news. I still want to clean this out though. I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to put this over here so it stays down here and it's nice and warm. Well, that explains why they've been so aggressive. You know, if they were just scavenging, well, I see more brood. Queen's probably, oh, I see the queen right here. I can see her because she's taller than everybody. Maybe it was drone. Maybe it was a drone on somebody's back. Okay, but there's more brood right there, which is great. And they're really packing the new pollen in, and they're putting pollen. So it's time to feed pollen patties. Look at all that pollen on that. Look at all those pollen sacs packed. Pretty neat. Well, I still want to get this box cleaned out. So I'm putting the bees over here because I want to get this box cleaned out. But it looks like we got eggs, we got capped brood. I'd feel a lot better if I seen the queen. But the queen could be up in the top box, who knows? There's a lot of honey on this. This thing is packed with honey. Look at all that. Looks just as good on the other side. Pretty sure they won't be needing all of this.